most women, I don't actually think know what most men want. I don't think they actually know how to please a man. Right? When a woman comes out and says, "Oh yeah, I've done this. Oh yeah, I've been there. Yeah, I've been here a couple times. Yeah, oh, I know all about that. I know the manager." It's like, the hell? So unattractive. Why are you so experienced? Right? I don't want an experienced woman. No man in the course of human history has ever uttered the words, "Wow, gee, I wish my woman dated 15 more guys before I met her," or 50, or, "Gee, I wish my woman looked more like a land whale." Said nobody ever. Right? The element of love between men and women is so different because Dr. Orion Taraban, his book, The Value of Others, is fantastic, where he predicates no relationship on earth can exist without the existence of some form of value being transacted. And it doesn't matter if it's romantic, friendship, professional, etc. But specifically in the romantic setting, if considering that the female dictates the terms and the living conditions of the relationship, if there is no value being transacted, a relationship can't exist. So if you ever heard a woman say, "Would you still love me if I was a worm?" Well, no, I don't date worms. And if you weigh as much as Barry Sanders, O. Lyman, or Dustin Bufflin, sorry, I'm out. Right? You have a standard for me. If I lost all my money, I lost my job, I had nothing going for me, I became, shaped like a butternut squash, you'd bounce on me too. Like, you have a standard for me, I have a standard for you. And personally, I like that. I like having a standard for myself. I mean, personally, also to a degree, I'm kind of a psycho. I like torturing myself and putting myself through difficult situations. Like when I mentioned the sparring my Muay Thai instructor, probably a bad idea, but I like the idea of struggle and like pushing that boulder up the hill. So that's something that I enjoy personally. But again, the whole point of this video is the male-female dynamic, and that has been completely tainted by media, by pop culture, by the powers that be. But the one good piece of news, though, is that although we live in a society where it feels like, to me anyway, merit does not exist anymore, we are completely in a what are the feelings like type of world. The gatekeepers previously of the CBC, the CTV, Canadian news networks, they don't have a monopoly anymore. Yes, they do completely influence the boomers and the people that believe that things are as good as what Mark Carney and the boys tell them in the House of Commons. But with high-speed internet and smartphones, you and I, we can have this conversation. We can talk about it, which is great. I find it funny, too. Anytime you hear, especially on the mainstream news, in a lot of female circles, they say a real man is insert XYZ. Anytime you hear that, it's usually a shaming tactic that's going to follow. But the women, unfortunately, have become, like I said, so broken. They don't really know what makes men happy. Right? There was a gal I dated, this has been probably about a year ago. And this is more of a casual arrangement. And she texted me one day. She says, I wouldn't mind going for coffee. I said, you know what? Whatever. We've been doing this for about a month. Let's see what you're made of. And not a word of a lie. She came over. And she literally was wearing a crop top, no bra, and she had pierced nipples, so you could completely see them protruding out of the shirt, and then leggings as well. And this is what she wore to the coffee shop. And I said, this is kind of embarrassing, but this is going to be a fantastic story. Let's see what else she's made of. So walk down to the coffee shop, and she's just being loud and obnoxious in a way that I had not yet seen. And I said to her, "Can you please speak in a lower tone?" She's like, "Well, I'm just loud. This is just the way that I am." And I said, "That's fine. I'm asking you, please don't speak so loud. Like, you're literally like shouting and you're being obnoxious and embarrassing." Right? On top of the fact, obviously I'm not going to say this because I'm going to conserve my energy, because there's only certain things that are worth putting your energy towards. I mean, at this point, it's already right off. I already know that this is not ever going to happen again. But I asked her to, like I said, please lower the volume. Please don't be so obnoxious. I didn't ask her to put on any clothes because, again, this was going to be the only time this was happening. And she wanted to fight back with me about how this is just the way that she is. Except I said, you know what? Why don't we just go home? And that was it. That was the last time I ever saw her, because I'm not interested in that, right? And white Canadian men love taking disrespect from their women. There is not a single race on the planet that loves taking disrespect from their women and also diverting to their woman's leadership like Canadian white men. Right? You look at any race around the world outside of North America, the men are in charge, they run the show, and the women follow. This is the way that it's supposed to be. And in so many relationships, most women run most relationships, and you wonder why they're ass backwards. Right? We are designed as God's greatest creation, man and woman, peanut butter and jelly, peanut butter and chocolate, that The man leads and the woman follows. Now, I do have some sympathy for the women because so many of the men are generally retarded. If you are shaped like a butternut squash, you do not have your finances squared away, and have nothing going for you, I wouldn't listen to you either. I wouldn't. And guess what? If that was my daughter dating you, I mean, I would not let you anywhere near my daughter, but men need to have a higher standards for themselves. And I get it. There's a lot of things in the world that are really messy, especially in Canada, right? The politicians are absolute crooks and fraudsters. They're screwing you, right? Tax season's here. If you lie to the government for taxes, that's a fraud. You're going to jail plus interest. If they lie to you, it's just politics, just the way that it is, right? There's no accountability, right? The RCMP is not going to ever do anything about any of the scandals and the green slush fund or the new spaceport that just came out the other way. Like, it's just the way that it is. Just accept it the way that it is. But we can control what we can control. And for men, you can get yourself into better shape, right? No, let's call it for what it is. There's a reason. Have you ever talked to a woman reading smut books? Have you ever listened or even to a degree read up on the content that they're listening to? It's always some super tall, in shape, jack, dominant, like Chad. And again, I'm not a Chad. I'd love to be a Chad, but I'm not quite one. But that's what they like. And so this whole body positivity, oh, round is a shape. Anybody ever seen Family Guy? When Lois, again, there's your typical family sitcom. Lois runs the show. Peter's a bumbling idiot that if he didn't have his head screwed on, he'd probably lose it and have to have her to help him. Peter, did you go to the doctor to get checked for your health? Oh yeah, I did. How'd it go? The doctor said I was great. I'm too healthy. I'm in shape. I'm really in shape. You didn't go, did you? Well, yeah, I guess round is a shape, right? If you look like that, why would any woman ever listen to you? There are things that you can do to, I mean, you don't have to do it in a big scary way. Be respect worthy. Be clean cut, dressed somewhat well, have your finances in order, have your shit together and not speak like a complete bumbling buffoon. I love going for coffee, especially by myself. So I have no distractions to distract me from things. And when I go to a coffee shop in Vancouver, obviously I'm visiting some family here in Winnipeg, but and by the way, somebody commented the other day that it looks like I'm recording in a jail yard. Not far from it. But when I'm at a coffee shop in Vancouver, I love people watching. And when you observe first dates, like you can tell when somebody's on a first date and the man is just a bumbling buffoon. What's your favorite color? Where are you? What do you do for? It's like, idiot. You can do anything to a woman, just don't be boring, right? I had a good friend of mine tell me one time, you know, Trav, Ted Bundy wasn't boring. Look at all the women that were outside of his, when they fried him in Florida. Jeffrey Dahmer. I know I have the same glasses as him. But when he was on trial, look at all the women that were outside of his courtroom, or court building, whatever it's called. The guy was gay. He didn't like women. Right? You can do anything to a woman. Just don't be boring. And it's funny because when that friend told me that, with the Bundy, the Dahmer analogy, I think I had a streak of about 5 or 6 dates in a row where for whatever reason, all the women brought up the worst date of their life, and it all predicated something along the lines of he was just boring and not interesting. And I said to the one after about 5 or 6 dates of the streak happening, saying, so what you're saying is just don't be boring. Well, yeah, you have to be entertaining. You have to be funny. All right.